Hey, so earlier this week, I talked to you. I promised you guys that we were going to talk some leadership, right? And I have a lot of people on that I'm connected to that are connected either they're actually members of the clergy, like active in the church. They're in the military. There's some athletes. They're from different industries, and I wanted to talk leadership with some of those people so we can get a different perspective on what leadership means to them. And just different things about leadership. So today with us, I have Pastor Felicia Davis. She's a pastor at a church in Petersburg, Virginia, and I happened to meet her early last year at one of the events that we were doing, and she I was so inspired by her. It looks like she actually left the group, so I might have to stop and come back to this, but maybe she'll come back. But I was inspired by her, and she's a really deep connected person. I look up to her as a leader and what she brings to the table and what she's doing to in the community. So I'm going to move myself out of the way for just a second so you guys can hear from her and hear her story. So, Pastor Davis, are you on the line with us? Can you see us in
Yes,
here?
I am.
Okay, hey. So the audience is curious. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, again, my name is Felicia Davis, and I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor for about 8 years. I did start out as an evangelist, and I worked in the ministry for a while.
Okay, it looks like your camera went out and you possibly lost the signal. I'm not sure if you can hear me, um, or see me for that matter, but we cannot hear you or see you. So when you come back, just let us know. In the meantime, I will continue to talk to the audience and just banter back and forth for a minute because the reason that I wanted to do this segment in particular. Hey, Erica, that's my queen, y'all. The reason I wanted to do this segment in particular is because leadership is something that I for one, am very passionate about. As most of you know, and some of you may not know, that I've just retired from the Navy after 28 years of service. Okay, I've done 4 command tours, and I've been in leadership since 2006. Actually, a lot longer than that, but I've been actually responsible and charged with leadership since 2006. So for about 15 years, I've been responsible for leading people. Now, that being said, I was not always good, right? And depending on who you talk to, some people might not think I was good, and that's okay. But I definitely learned a lot in my journey about leading people. And the first thing that I learned was that when I was in those positions, I wasn't leading sailors. Now, if you ask some people, they'll say, "Yeah, you led sailors." No, no, I led people who happened to be sailors, and there's a huge difference when you look at a person in uniform, and the first thing you focus on is the uniform. Then you're not really leading that person; you're leading that uniform, and it's unfortunate because there's a person wearing that uniform that you don't even recognize, right? So no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you do in life, and you are responsible for leading people, the biggest tip that I can give you is first recognize that those are people. Okay. Um, and when Felicia comes back, we're going to talk about the difference between leadership and management. And because some people just don't realize that leadership and management are different, right? Management is task based, right? You have to make cheeseburgers. Okay. Well, how do you make cheeseburgers? You're responsible for getting the bread, making the patty, putting the cheese on it, so forth, right? That's all management. That's task driven. Leadership is more about relationships with people. Okay, that's really what it is, and it's all about influence. What can you convince or influence people to do that they normally wouldn't do? Right? Do you have to tell people to do something, or are they going to do the right thing because they know it's the right thing to do? See, one is a product of management, the other is a product of influence, right? When people start moving in such a way, because not only do they respect you, but they understand that it's the right thing to do, that is leadership. And then in leadership is, I want everybody to understand that leadership is not, it's not something that comes automatic. Yeah, if you wear a uniform, they have to respect that title and your rank, but they don't have to respect you as a person. So you have to earn that. Okay. And the only way you earn that, or the fastest way, I should say, you earn that is by caring about the person, like legitimately and genuinely caring about the person that's either beside you, above you, or beneath you, right? And this goes for, this isn't just about business. It's not just about the military. This actually applies in your house. Yes, Felicia, you did lose us. You can come back in though. You can use that link that I gave you, and you can come back in. This leadership applies even in your household, right? When people don't think that you care about them genuinely, then they're not going to care about you and what the vision is. Okay. You also have to be able to communicate that vision, right? And I promise you, the better you communicate, the easier it is for you to accomplish the mission, no matter what that mission is, because you can get everybody going in the same direction and on the same page. And as long as everyone understands what the vision is, you don't necessarily have to be there to drive the whole thing, right? You don't have to be there because you've communicated what the expectations are and what the vision is, on the other end. And then the people that you are leading, I found that the people that you are leading will get you there, right? They will get you there if you communicate properly. Okay. Another vital tool for leadership, in my opinion, okay, is expertise. Does that mean that you have to know everything, all the ins and outs of everything? No, it does not, right? But you should definitely know what the capabilities are, what your limitations are, what can and can't you do, right? And sometimes what you think you can't do, you have to understand that you probably can. Okay, which leads me to my next trick, which is buy-in, right? Buy-in. So what's buy-in? Buy-in is when you can communicate in such a way and include other people in the decision making process so that they understand that they have input, right? If they have input, they get to also participate in the direction that you all are going. Okay, when you have buy-in, now they have what I like to call ownership. And when you own something, you're going to get a much better product because you're going to have more pride in it. Okay, it looks like Felicia is coming back. I still don't have her video, but she's trying to get back in here. So I'm just going to keep talking and hopefully she gets back in soon. Okay, so we talked a little bit about buy-in, we talked about communication, we talked about expertise, right? The other thing, and well, another thing I should say is humility, right? Humility. Humility is one of the most powerful tools that you can have as a leader. And well, first of all, what is humility? A lot of people get the word humility and humiliation confused, and they couldn't be further apart, right? Humiliation has nothing to do with humility. But what humility is the understanding that it's not about you, right? Number one, it's not about you. If we are all doing something based on your agenda, why should I care, right? This is about something that's bigger than you. When we talk about humility, that's being able to understand that your way is not the only way. In fact, your way may not even be the best way, but you won't understand that if you don't give people buy-in or if you don't get buy-in from other people and if you aren't a humble person. See, somebody who lacks humility will stand up in front of a group of people and say, this is what we're doing. I don't care what anybody else says, right? Somebody who has humility will receive input from other people, and they can say, "Hey, why don't we do it this way?" Or I think we should do it this way, or this way will be better because, right? When you can get to that level, things you get to be lazy. I like to tell people all the time, I am lazy, but it takes a lot of hard work to be lazy if you're still going to get the job done, right? one of my mentors a long time ago in the Navy, when I was a brand new chief, I pulled him to the side and said, "Hey, man, how do I do what you're doing? Because you are really good at what you do." And he said, "Rashawn, listen, there's nothing special about me. Okay, what I want you to understand is that to be great, to be a great leader, all you have to do is be great at the things that you're good at, and then surround yourself with good people." So I thought about that, right? And at first I didn't understand, but then I put it in terms of basketball, right? Everybody knows who Shaquille O'Neal is. Everybody knows that, okay? Everybody knows that Shaquille O'Neal was one of the greatest centers of all time. Argue, and some people might argue that he was the greatest center of all time. I would say, okay, you can't have that conversation without throwing Zoe in there, but that's a different conversation. Okay, but so we'll concentrate just on Shaquille O'Neal for now, right? Yes, he was one of the greatest centers of all time, arguably. Okay, um, but he sucked at shooting free throws, right? He was horrible at shooting free throws. But how much time in the gym do you think he spent shooting free throws, right? None, right? That's not what he focused on in practice because that's not what he was good at, right? He could practice that day in, day out, day in, and day out, but he recognized that the best that he would ever get at that is mediocre. So why doesn't he focus on perfecting his inside game? Why won't he work on perfecting the things that he's already good at, right? So he did that. So and what the coaches did was they surrounded him with other key players, other role players that can shore up or strengthen all of the other areas where Shaquille O'Neal lacked, right? That led him to being an NBA champion, right? You don't have to be the best at everything to lead. All you got to do is be great at something, right? And then allow other people to focus on their strengths and be great at what they're at, and then you put all those pieces together, and now you have a well-oiled machine, right? Hey, listen, I wanted Pastor Davis to be able to come on and share with all of you, but she's having a little bit of technical difficulties. Hopefully, we can reschedule at another time. But I definitely wanted to just jump on here and talk leadership. And when we get her back, we will talk about it from a clergy perspective, because I want you guys to understand that no matter what you do, no matter what you're doing, whether you're in business, you're in military, you're an athlete, maybe you're on a sports team, maybe you're on some committee, maybe it's in your household. Leadership is leadership. It is. Okay? Leadership is leadership. It all comes from the Bible, every bit of it, right? Some people will say, well, model yourself after the military. Well, that's one way to do it, right? Some people will say that Xerox had the best, upper chain of command. Well, maybe, right? But at the end of the day, when you first care about people, right? That's number one. You actually have to care about people and helping not just your agenda, but helping them succeed. They're going to do everything that they can do in their power to make sure that the mission is accomplished. That's how you win wars. That's how you build businesses. That's how you build churches, right? You got to focus on the people. One of the things that when I was talking to Pastor Davis yesterday, one of the things that she said that kind of stuck with me about her being a pastor is she says a lot of people believe that the community needs to be in the church, right? But she believes that the church needs to be in the community. Now let that sink in, right? Let that sink in. And her and that whole group of pastors that are connected to Elder Taronda Green and her husband Sean Green, they all operate that way. They all operate that way. So let's get out of the churches and get into the communities. That is what they believe. And they're doing some phenomenal things in the Petersburg, Virginia area. And that's all I had for you guys. I really appreciate everybody stopping in and taking some time and just listen to me chat for a little bit about leadership. Hey, if you have any questions about becoming a leader, maybe you're looking for a mentor, right? I'll be more than happy to mentor anybody when it comes to leadership. right? I don't care what it is that you do. I'm pretty sure that I can mentor you in the leadership perspective. Okay. My name is Rashawn Elliott. You guys all have a great day. And again, thank you all for tuning in.